But if you want the Batman, here is something that can help you.
All DCEU movies that Warner Bros. Have cancelled. It has been quite the trend that Warner Bros. Have been following over the years. They constantly pull a bazillion DC projects under development. Then a couple years after not prioritizing them, those projects are shelved. Only a quarter of the films that they put under development get made. The others just keep getting delayed due to creative differences, or they are cancelled. Ever since Zack Snyder started to branch out with his DCEU vision, WB has been adding and removing DC projects. Initially, they were confident with DCEU's direction and were looking to compete with the MCU, but they got cold feet very soon and made major changes. As a result of those changes, the following DCEU projects were cancelled: Justice League 2 and 3.
I've never seen a being as strong. Maybe one.
Zack Snyder's Justice League has performed beyond imagination. It has done what the theatrical cut was originally supposed to do. Because the theatrical cut probably failed to break even, Warner Bros. Canceled the Justice League sequels. Now let's hope that the Snyderverse would be restored in one way or another. Rumors do suggest that the Justice League sequels could happen as miniseries on HBO Max. But let's see what happens with that. Deadshot.
Hey, Angelo. This is the exterminator you called for your rat problem?
After the commercial success of Suicide Squad, it was obvious that Warner Bros. Was looking for a sequel. But they also had to put a Deadshot movie under development. Alongside Will Smith, it would have featured Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag. But the film was shelved. Recently, Joe Manganiello revealed that there were multiple versions of Suicide Squad 2 involving his Deathstroke. And there was also a film with him and Deadshot, so WB pulled the plug for all those Deadshot featuring films. Deathstroke.
A lot of things that I think he wished, or really wanted.
Gareth Evans was supposed to bring a solo Deathstroke origin story to life. It would have been a $40 million grounded action thriller like John Wick, but Evan left the project and Manganiello was left hanging again. Ben Affleck's The Batman.
It has to.
Speaking of cancelled projects involving Deathstroke, the biggest of them was Ben Affleck's The Batman. Batfleck would have taken on Deathstroke. It was supposed to happen right after Lex Luthor revealed Batman's secret identity to Slade Wilson. But Ben Affleck couldn't finish his script, and Matt Reeves totally revamped the project. The rest is history. Gotham City Sirens.
So much for the Gotham City Sirens.
Instead of Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, Warner Bros. Was planning to go for a Gotham City Sirens movie with David Ayer. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman were supposed to appear, and Jared Leto was confirmed to reprise his Joker role. But the direction changed as Warner Bros. Started focusing on Birds of Prey instead. 2 Joker films with Leto.
I can't wait. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Jared Leto was really wronged, as most of his Suicide Squad footage ended up on the editing room floors. Besides Gotham City Sirens, he was promised a Joker vs. Harley film and a solo Joker movie as well. Warner Bros. Brought in Joaquin Phoenix to star in Joker instead. While that was a great decision, we'd like to see more of Jared Leto's Joker too. He has certainly left people asking for more with his recent Justice League cameo. The Trench. After the success of Aquaman, James Wan was seen developing a horror movie featuring the Trench Monster. Noah Gardner and Aidan Fitzgerald were hired to write the film. But just recently, The Hollywood Reporter reported that the film was officially shelved. There is a chance that Warner Bros. Might pick it up later on, but we really shouldn't bet on that. Cyborg.
He wants to fly.
After Cyborg's role was reduced in the theatrical cut of Justice League, his solo movie never went forward. Over the last year or so, Ray Fisher has had his differences with Warner Bros. Execs. He has stated that he wouldn't work in a project where the DC Films president, Walter Hamada, is involved. So it's kind of obvious that a Cyborg movie will not happen now. The New Gods.
So begins the end.
The Trench wasn't the only DC movie that got cancelled recently. THR reported that the New Gods movie featuring Darkseid has also been shelved. Ava DuVernay has been developing the film with writer Cario Salem since 2018, but it isn't happening anymore. Originally, it was stated that the New Gods was set in the DCEU, but then it was reported to be an entirely independent project like Joker. And that's what bums us the most. The New Gods could have been its own thing in the DC multiverse. But I guess the signs were always there, as DuVernay had already moved on to projects like CW's DC superhero drama called Naomi. Besides these cancelled films, there are other DC movies on hold, and they are probably on the verge of cancellation. DC films on hiatus. Green Lantern Corps. Warner Brothers was developing a Green Lantern Corps movie set in Zack Snyder's DCEU, but later on, it was reported that Jeff Johns was working on a script. Now we don't know what happened with that, as Warner Brothers moved on to develop a Green Lantern series for HBO Max. Rumors suggest that this Green Lantern series will intertwine with the Green Lantern Corps movie later on, but none of that is confirmed for now. Nightwing. Chris McKay was supposed to be working on a Nightwing movie. He was very enthusiastic about it, but he moved to Paramount's The Tomorrow War. It will arrive later this year, so we might get to know the status of Nightwing after that. It's quite likely that the film won't happen at all. Supergirl.
You're Supergirl.
Back in 2019, Warner Brothers was really pushing to develop a Supergirl solo movie instead of Man of Steel 2. But the reports later suggested that this project was also shelved. Now that Sasha Calle has been cast as DCEU's Supergirl and Flash, things could change for the hero's future. She might get a solo movie after all. Batgirl.
It's like Batgirl jumps in to try to help Bruce because...
Like Deathstroke, Batgirl has also faced several cancellations. First, Joss Whedon was handling the story, but he left the project. Joe Manganiello recently revealed that Batgirl was supposed to make her debut in Ben Affleck's The Batman. Joss Whedon's Batgirl movie would have probably followed that, but it didn't happen. When Michael Keaton was brought back to star in The Flash, we heard announcements that Keaton's Batman would mentor Batgirl in her solo film. Again, there has been no word on that either. Lobo.
You had your chance.
This is another project that Warner Brothers has been reviving and killing over time. It may or may not have been a part of the DCEU. At one point, Michael Bay was going to direct an explosive $200 million film based on Lobo. But that amounted to nothing, and no one knows what's going to happen with the character now. Looking at all these cancelled projects, it does seem that Warner Brothers created more of a mess than they did good. But it's good that at least some of their upcoming projects are now set to arrive. We're getting the Suicide Squad, the Batman, Black Adam, the Flash, Aquaman 2, and Shazam 2. But which of the cancelled films would you have preferred to watch? Let us know in the comments. And make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube for more exclusive content. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.